All right. Good morning, everyone. It is Sunday, April 16th, 2023. I'm Gary Ryan here with the Fed League Flash. And it is Sunday, April 16th. So, you know what that means? That means the regular season has come to a conclusion. Everything for the playoffs are set for the Commissioner's Cup, and playoffs are starting on Wednesday. We'll get into that in a bit, but yeah, I'm wearing my favorite generic jersey again. Go team! All right, so hopefully you can say that about your team as we head into the playoffs. All right, well, so let's. I'm going to go through the games from last night in order of when they finished. So, first to last. All right, first game that was concluded was the Motor City Rockers hosting the Mississippi Seawolves. Motor City ending the year with a 5-2 victory. Scott Koash scoring another 2 goals after his hat trick Friday night. One of those 2 goals was the game-winning goal. Dante Suffredini for the Rockers, 2 assists last night, and he is one of just a handful of players. I believe it was announced it was 6 players altogether that played all 56 games this year in the Fed. So, in today's day and age with roster movement and injuries and call ups to the SPHL and everything else, congratulations to Dante on that accomplishment, playing all 56 games for the Rockers this year in their inaugural season. Now, I know there are a couple others, and unfortunately, I don't have a comprehensive list. So, to anyone who played all 56 games, congratulations, and that's an awesome accomplishment. Back to last night's game for the Sea Wolves. One more time to say it: Yaroslav Yevdokimov. Ta-da! He ended up with 2 goals. Both of them assisted by Yanni Lariakos. So Yevdokimov ends up with the FPHL version of the Rocket Richard trophy, although there's no trophy and Richard has nothing to do with it. 52 goals over the course of the year, and I believe he played 53 games, so that's almost a goal a game. Fantastic year for Yevdokimov. Lariakos wins the points race as far as who's number 2 behind Gus Ford. Lariakos had 105 points at the end of the year. Yevdokimov 101. So there were 3 players this year that crossed the 100-point plateau. Gus Ford with 114 points, then Lariakos and Yevdokimov. Anyway, Trevor Babin gets the win for the Rockers, saves 30 of 32. He got pulled in order to be able to rest for the playoffs with 12:08 left in the third period. Or, no, I'm sorry, at the 12:08 mark of the third period. So that was the final 7:52 that he rested. And that way, no harm of him getting injured. Obviously, Babin is a very important part of the Rockers. So there's that game. All right, Danbury, they traveled to Port Huron and one ending to a fantastic year. Danbury wins 4-1. Johnny Ruiz, 2 goals, including the game winner, just like Scotty Koash. Brian Wilson, he's had a few games this year where he's been good but not great. Last night, he was great, stopping 50 of 51 shots. That's his 31st win of the year. His goals against average gets lowered to, I believe it's 262, which was only behind Brandon Colgan. And so fantastic year. Tucker Scantlebury scored the lone goal for the Prowlers. So now Danbury, very noteworthy, only lost 7 games in regulation and 5 games in either overtime or shootout out of 56. They ended the year winning 18 of their final 19 contests. Not only is that called a heater, that's called going into the playoffs red hot. So Danbury is hoping to carry that momentum with them into the next round and throughout the playoffs, hoping to bring home a championship to Danbury for the first time since 2016. All right, so one note I do have to talk about with this game, Paul Jean, he's the head of officiating for the FPHL. Why? I don't know. Yeah, you can see where this is going. Um, Last night, full potato. Ended up ejecting 9 players in the final 5 minutes. Uh, Maybe 2 of them were deserved. The rest of it was just arbitrary. It was just absolute madness. Gene's, you get an ejection. You get an ejection. He was doing Oprah. Worst case of abuse of the authority of an official that I have seen in a long, long time. And he's the head of officiating. On the other things, in what was surprisingly one of the closest games, well, I can't say that because there's 3 games that ended up with as a 1-goal difference, but one of the games that was close, Binghamton ends up squeaking by Elmira 5-4 in the Black Bears' home closer for the regulation series. This was a back and forth battle and wasn't decided until 8:08 left in the third when Connor Smith ended up scoring, and that was the game winner. 2 goals on the night for defenseman Don Olivieri and Danik Rodrigue. He ended up taking the loss, but not only was this guy just standing on his head, well, he was using his head, unfortunately, more than he would have liked, I'm sure. He makes 49 of 54 possible saves. 4 of those saves went off his mask. The final one knocked his mask off, dropped him like a rock. If any of you have ever played goaltender, you take a snapshot to the helmet, yeah, it's going to knock you down. It's not going to mess up your face, but yeah, you're going to feel it. But Danik played a heroic game. And the other mammoth note, Gino DAngelo, after spending the majority of the year in Binghamton, hometown boy, he comes back as a visitor, playing in the arena for the first time as a visitor, and comes up with a goal and assist. He actually played very well in both games against his former team this weekend. And it was nice to see when he scored the Elmira 4th goal, which was tying game. He got a real big cheer from the Binghamton crowd, just showing, he's family, he's one of them, and it was really nice to see. So Binghamton ends up the year on a 6-game winning streak. So not too bad there. Watertown, it was good to see Watertown win, but it was also kind of a heartbreaker in a way. Watertown in overtime gets by Delaware 5-4. Could this possibly have been the final game in Harrington? We don't know. It was a great crowd on hand, very enthusiastic crowd. The usual size, right around 700, but boy, were they loud. And, great crowd. So Everett Thompson ends up scoring the game-winning goal in overtime. He also had another goal for the Wolves. Charlie Bedard gets a hat trick for the Wolves, and correct me if I'm wrong. Any Delaware fans, leave a comment down below. I believe that's the first hat trick by a Thunder player this year. Not sure, but all 3 came on the power play too. So that was interesting. On the other side, Ishmael Ralston got his first pro win as he backstopped the Wolves to the victory, saving 37 shots. 5 power play goals in this game, 2 by Watertown and 3 by Charlie Bedard. So anyway, it remains to be seen whether this was the final game in Delaware history. I thought it was fitting the picture I chose at the beginning of this video, just to kind of encapsulate the moment. And yeah, hopefully a deal gets worked out before the end of the month with the Delaware State Fair Board and the Thunder on an extension. But time's running short. Final game of the night. Friday night, Columbus traveled to Carolina and got a shootout win. Carolina decided to return the favor. Last night they were playing in Columbus, and it was the Thunderbirds who came away with the shootout win. This time 4-3. Now Columbus was up 3-1 in this game, and unfortunately just let it slip away after the second period. So Josh Keplinger, 2 goals and an assist, plus the shootout goal that was the difference maker. Greg Hussey ended up stopping 39 of 42 in a very good effort. Layden King scored a goal and an assist for the River Dragons. And Carolina ends up winning the Continental Division. They get the honor of taking on the Port Huron Prowlers, while Columbus takes on Motor City in the playoffs. One other note from yesterday, Matthias Telstrom from Friday night's action ended up receiving a 10-game suspension for physical abuse of an official. Now, what happened was, I'm not sure what led to Telstrom's reaction, but Telstrom was very upset, very frustrated, went over to the boards, just whacked his stick a couple times on the board, and the broken part of his stick flew off, hit one of the officials. And some people said it was a two-handed throw of the stick at the official, and it did not look that way to me. It's very hard to see. It's off to the side of the camera, but nonetheless, that might get reduced, but I would say very safely that unless Watertown can find a way of upsetting Binghamton, that Telstroms is probably done for the year. All right, so the playoffs are set. And we have the board. Let me move this. Okay. So this is what we got. We got Carolina taking on Port Huron. The games are Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. This is the only series that has that schedule. And I'm guessing it's because of ice availability. I thought, maybe that's because of travel considerations. It's a long way from Michigan to North Carolina. But then you look at Columbus and Motor City. That's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday game affair. And again, the teams travel about the same distance. So, I guess it just comes down to ice availability. So the other 3 playoff matches are Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, keep in mind, the lower seed hosts game 1. Games 2 and 3, if 3 is necessary, will be hosted by the higher seed. So Wednesday's game is in Port Huron. Carolina then hosts Friday and Saturday if need be. Same thing for the others. The lower seed gets the first game. The higher seed gets the second and third. So, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday affairs for the other matchups, and I am planning on being at game 2 of the Binghamton Watertown series, wearing said generic jersey, and it's gonna be really great. So hopefully, these teams can produce a lot of exciting hockey in the playoffs. We don't have any 12-0 games or anything like that. All right, so that does it for today's Fed League Flash. Remember, we will have a broadcast tomorrow. I will preview the Carolina Port Huron series, and we'll also give picks and predictions. So tune in then. Until then, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Watch for us on Spotify Tuesday through Thursday for the audio broadcasts. Follow me there on Spotify. And thank you so much for all your support. I'm Gary Ryan for the Fed League Flash, and we will talk to you mañana.